Hey guys, welcome back to the garage. I am actually working on some wiring right now. This is just some these connectors, and I'll put a link in the product or in the description below. But these came from Amazon. These are waterproof connectors. They're I believe they're called GM-style connectors. They use the barrel. You can see that there. They use the barrel style connectors, and what I'm doing is you can see this plug into there. I'm actually putting these on my truck. These are going to be auxiliary backup lights, but this would apply to any type of 12-volt wiring that you have. And what I'm doing is, you can see I've already got this side done, and so I'm actually working on crimping these connectors on. So I'm using a tool like this. I believe I got this off Amazon as well. I'll also put that in the description below. But basically what I've done is I've stripped it back. These come with a little weather seal connector that's going to slide down in here when we push these in. And what we're going to do is, this is kind of a, I don't think it's actually called double crimp, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use number 4 right here, and I'm going to come over here and put it right in here. And now this is just kind of show you this first crimp. This goes down onto the wire, and you can see right there how it crimps into the wire. Now I am going to put just a dab of solder in here. You don't have to do that if you have a good crimp. This is a very good crimp here, but I'm going to go ahead and just put a dab of solder in there. That's the first crimp, and then the second is going to go right around this little weather boot here. And for that, I'm going to use this this number 1. And for this one, I'm actually going to turn this over, because we want the teeth to go in there, get it lined up. And you don't have to go very hard. Just go right on there. You can see it bends it just slightly, spin it right back. And that's what we're looking for on the crimp right there. All that really does is it just kind of secures that weather boot here, gives it some additional strain relief on the connector. And I'll go ahead and do this second one here to show you a second one. Just gonna lay it in just like that. And we're gonna go again for this wire size. I'm gonna go with number 4. Make sure we're lined up, crimped in. And again, you can see right there, good crimp. Be sure the weather boot is in place. And go ahead and get the weather boot done. Oh, and that does sometimes happen. These are cheap ones off Amazon. You can see it broke off one side of it. I'm not super worried about it. Actually, it broke off both sides of that one. I'm not super worried about this one because I am going to put some solder in here. But of the others I didn't have any trouble. In fact, I'll show you this one again. You can see this one worked out pretty good. But anyway, it does happen. As long as this is nice and secure, and I'm actually giving this a decent little tug here. All this is really doing is, again, it's just keeping it in there. These pins, when we push this in, those pins are what are actually going to lock in to the connector. So I'm not particularly worried about this slipping out or anything like that. This is just there for weather. You can also put, again, some dielectric grease down in here. I didn't do those on these because when I do the final connection, I'll actually put just a dab of dielectric in there when it makes the connection, and that'll help prevent any kind of corrosion or anything like that. So I'm doing that. I'll actually do another video to show you when I get these installed. There are other videos out there, kind of how-tos as far as doing up the template. So we've got a template here, using that on the bumper, locating it, everything like that. Again, I'm not particularly worried about that. These are These are Off-Road Town. They look like a pretty good one. This is a fairly standard. Again, this came off of Amazon, and you can see the specifications there. But also here are the connectors. This was a multi-pack, and again, I'll put a link in the description below, but you can see this was a multi-pack, 10 kits, 2-pin. These come in 3-pin, 4-pin, 5-pin, whatever. But anyway, that was just it. A quick little update there. Thought I'd do a little bit of wiring and showing that, because I get a lot of questions on wiring. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more. All right, guys, I'm done with my wiring harness here, at least for what I can do right now. You can actually see down there on the ground. So I've got my 2 connectors on, which will match up to the connectors that I've already added to each of the lights. Those come up, and I've got the wires running through some loom. And this is a, show you the roll of it here. It's basically just that kind of expanding loom. I forget what it's called, but I'll put a link in the description to give you some detail on it. I've got a couple of different sizes on it. This is the smallest that I had, and it does fit it fairly well. So I've got that run on those, make it look nice and OEM. And keep the connectors up here. You can see those came out very nice, and look very good. So then I've got my blue wire that's going to go to the battery, and the reason it's blue is on my relay. This is a relay with a harness. Again, put a link in the description. So this blue wire, this goes to the battery, which if I remember correctly is 80, or no, sorry, that's number 30. Oh, sorry, that's number 30. And then 87, which is the yellow wire. That yellow wire splits off, and that goes to the power on the connectors. That's actually going to go directly to the light. So what happens is battery power comes in on 30, and it goes out to pin 87. Now I'm not using pin 87A. 87A is it's actually a red wire. I've cut it off and put some shrink wrap over it to cover it and seal it. But that's the one in the very middle. We're not using that pin. And then pin number 86 and 85. So 86, that's our trigger wire. That's the white wire. That, because these are going to be run in with my backup lights, I'm kind of debating on putting a switch or running it off of actually my trailer harness, using the reverse wire in that, because I have a 7-pin harness. Just doing that as a trigger so it's always on. I'm really thinking about a switch though, so that I can turn these on at will. And then the green wire here, that's ground, and I just happen to have some green wire laying around that was from another project. And so I've got green wire that's running to each of those, and then this green wire is actually connected to this black wire in the harness. That's going to go to my ground connection. So I've got everything done up. I've wrapped it. There's some regular electrical tape, and then this is a automotive fabric tape. It's almost like a hook and loop, but it does have a little bit of adhesive on it. I've got that wrapped around here as well. That's what a lot of OEMs actually use, particularly on the inside. This is going to be an outside harness, but particularly on the inside. So that's what I've got going on here. Again, I think this looks really, really good. My plan is to basically mount this up underneath the vehicle. I'll have to find a spot when I get to working on it, but that'll mount up underneath the vehicle, and then of course those will go to each of the lights, and then get everything wired in. So there you go, just a little kind of primer in some 12-volt relay wiring, and using some of these connectors to make it look like a nice professional OEM job. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. I welcome all your questions.